Good morning and welcome to Deadly Desire, the Brendan Banfield trial. I'm your host, Guy Lambert. For those of you watching on the Fox Local app, our YouTube channel, and TikTok, thank you for doing so. It's now day 4 of the trial that's captivated the nation, filled with sex, deceit, lies, and double murder. Yesterday, defense lawyers challenged the testimony of a key witness in the murder trial. Juliana Magalhaes took the stand for a second day of testimony. Banfield's attorney pressed the au pair for details about the alleged plot to murder Christine Banfield and Robert Ryan, who were killed inside the Banfield home back in 2023. She said she had blocked some of the details from her memory due to trauma. The defense attorney also suggested that Magalhaes didn't accept a plea deal that ensured she would testify against Banfield until she saw the evidence collected for her own trial. Court adjourned for the day after more than 5 hours, count them, 5 hours of testimony from the au pair. That's where we find our very own Bob Barnard, who filed this report just minutes ago outside of the Fairfax County Courthouse.
Hey, good morning there. Back in Fairfax County this morning for day 4 of the Brendan Banfield murder trial. Not sure specifically who's going to take the stand for the prosecution today. I've had a chance to look at the witness list. It includes family members, but also experts who will try to look at some of the blood evidence and other things forensically that were left at the scene, the murder scene, to try to tie Brendan Banfield to the 2 murders there. They have the story, the jury does, we do now, directly from the au pair's mouth. That's what she testified to this week about the plot to kill Christine Banfield that then included this Joseph Ryan. Now the prosecution needs to, for the jury's sake, obviously, find the specific evidence that can tie Brendan Banfield to the 2 murders to back up the story of the au pair. And that's what will begin in earnest today. Up until now, it's kind of take us through what happened, why it happened, and now it's to try to find the evidence that was clearly left at the scene that could prove their case. And so that's what the jury will start hearing today. Yesterday was rather dramatic. Juliana Magalhaes was on the stand for a second day, all day. When she was done before 5 o'clock, they wrapped for the day and said, we'll come back on Thursday this morning. And initially, just very briefly in the beginning, it was the prosecution wrapping up their direct examination of Magalhaes, and she basically told the jury that after the murders, she stayed with the family. Her affair with Brendan continued. She actually moved into the master bedroom and remained there, living as a couple until she was charged with second-degree murder. And that after that, it was Brendan Banfield's mother, Teresa, who they called Tess, who paid for her lawyer, for the au pair's lawyer. And it continued that way, a relationship through letters, multiple letters and messages from the jail to the Banfields, until she agreed to testify, to accept a plea deal for manslaughter, not murder, to testify against Brendan Banfield. And once Ms. Magalhaes reached that plea deal with the Commonwealth's attorney here in Fairfax County, Mrs. Banfield stopped paying for her lawyer. And what we heard in court yesterday was the defense attorney hammering away at Juliana and revealing that she had been in negotiations with independent TV producers to tell her story for as much as $10,000. So the defense, Brendan Banfield's attorney, trying to attack her credibility, to pick away at her story, blaming him, Brendan Banfield, for coming up with the idea of the murder of Christine, his wife, that then included this Joseph Ryan. So looking for motivation that would have had the au pair tell this story. And part of that, according to the defense, is that she wanted to make money off of her involvement in this sensational case and was accepting money already from these producers to pay for commissary privileges at the jail and for the cost of Juliana being able to send messages to her family in Brazil. So motivated by money is what Brendan Banfield's defense is, that has led Juliana Magalhães to come up with this story, pinning him for the murder. So we'll see how and whether the prosecution can try to tie some evidence to that theory, and that begins in earnest this morning, guys.
Yet again, our very own Bob Barnard reporting outside of the Fairfax County Courthouse. So the stage is set. What will happen now as day 4 of the trial currently underway? Let's go ahead and take a live look within the courtroom to hear the banter, if you will, with regard to what's going on.
And that one would not be displayed. We stopped at the last, at 156.
All right. And Mr. Chair, then you're not going to have any objections to any of these photos coming into evidence?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. That'll be fine. We're ready for the jury then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, yet again, we are awaiting the jury to enter the courtroom as day 4 now currently underway in the Brendan Banfield trial. Back here in the studio, joined now by Marlo Greer. She is an attorney extraordinaire, federal trial attorney, and founder of Greer Law. And I believe your first time in studio.
First time in studio. I got to see you in person. I was so happy.
Well, good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and I, all smiles.
I know.
Not the case for that man we
No.
see right there on TV, Mr. Brendan Banfield. It appears the jury now entered. The judge, obviously, already seated. A couple of things, Marlo, as we look at what will perhaps unfold today and what we saw yesterday. We know that from the very beginning, the defense, if you will, tried to paint the picture to the jury that Juliana Magalhães' story happened to be incorrect. Furthermore, there were no looks between Juliana and that man right there, Brendan Banfield, and we are expecting her to perhaps make her way into the courtroom yet again. Last but not least, we also know that, well, according to the defense, she being Magalhães, spoke with several TV producers and perhaps is looking for a TV or movie deal. A lot to digest right from the very beginning.
Exactly. And you really have to think, prosecutors, when you talk to clients and things like that, you have to say, don't be dumb. Really, this is what you did. You sent these messages. And she really, handed that to defense, right? And yesterday she said, I deserve something. And that was the part of the cross-examination that I actually thought was really good. I was having a hard time with the cross. He wasn't getting what he needed out of her. He was really testifying himself. And by he, I mean the attorney.
Sure.
But when he had her read, we deserve something. She said, we deserve something. And he got her to admit that we included her. And so, what's the jury really going to think of that? Does she deserve something for murdering somebody? Does she deserve something for going on a fetish website,
Yeah.
which, I looked up this morning, had to explain to my husband, but I did look it up. And, it's this plot, but I think I really would have gone with woman scorned, too.
Wow.
As opposed to just, she's going to maybe make $10,000. I mean, if you really think about it, this case is pretty salacious.
Yeah.
And $10,000 isn't all that much. So, I think I really would have gone with woman scorned. He broke up with her. He said he wasn't going to continue with her. And so not only is she going to profit off of this crime by making up this story that prosecutors wanted her to make up, but she's doing it because he said he would no longer be with her. I think I would have tried to get that out of her.
Wow, very well said. Really interesting. Yet again, with regard to Mr. Brendan Banfield, and I brought this up with our very own Bob Barnard, who happens to be in that courtroom right now as you and I speak, and that is, if you look at the behavior between Mr. Banfield and his attorney, and we know that Mr. Banfield is a former IRS investigator, if you will, and so I saw him writing notes, and not only that, but it appeared as though he happened to be counseling the counsel. Did you see that as well?
It's not unusual, especially if you have a client that's particularly controlling, right? And you do tell them, don't talk to me. Like, you can't talk to me while I'm trying to digest everything, while I'm doing this cross-examination, while I'm listening, I'm watching the jury, I'm listening to the judge, I need to object. Don't talk to me. If you need to say something to me, write it down. And so we do tell them to write those things down, but it's really, you also want to keep, a poker face. You don't want your client to be sitting there,
Sure.
Doing this and things like that. So writing isn't really unusual, but passing a lot of notes to your counsel might be. With that particular witness, he obviously has intimate knowledge of her,
Yeah.
right? And so he could have, pointed those types of things out, like, I wasn't the one that logged on this day. Ask her this. She's not going to be able to know that. Things like that, maybe.
All right, let's look at the demeanor, if you will, of Mr. Banfield. Yet again, head down, and it appears, we just made mention of writing those notes. Yes, he is writing notes. We should also state that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what should he portray? Should it be, let's say, someone that appears to be somewhat apologetic, someone that is truly down and out, someone that is really upset about the loss of his wife? What would you tell him to do?
He does need to portray that he is upset about the loss of his wife. And while you need to keep somewhat of a poker face, some emotion, because the jury's going to be watching
Sure.
you the entire time and saying, like, does this look like a narcissistic, controlling mastermind? Or is she the au pair? Is that her? Was she coming in and manipulating him and wanting him to sleep with her so she could make more money and run off with his family? So you really do need to get some sort of emotion out of him. He's pretty flat.
Yeah, I would even argue at some points very coy, if you will. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and take yet again another live look in the courtroom. It appears a witness has taken to the stand, and we should get more information as to who this witness is. Let's take a live look.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No.
Okay. Looking at this photograph here, Commonwealth's 83. Can you tell me, was there a gate at the bottom of the basement stairs?
There was.
Okay. From the photograph, it appears to be about hip height. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my hips anyway. Perhaps someone taller, it's lower. But did it look like it was intended to serve a purpose?
At the time that I found it is as it was in this photo.
All right. Did you notice a lock on the door at the top of the basement stairs?
Yes.
Okay, so looking at Commonwealth's 84 here, is that a photograph of the lock that you observed?
That is a photograph of the lock that I observed.
Okay, was it engaged when you saw it?
No, it's as it was.
Okay. Moving up to the first floor, there was a kitchen and a living area?
Yes.
Okay, so looking at Commonwealth's 85, is this a photograph of the angle of the living area from the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay. In this photograph, can I draw your attention to the window area and the stationary object in front of it? Can
Yes.
you tell me what that was?
That was a bar cart style counter with 2 bar stools in front of it.
Okay. What, if anything, did you find in the kitchen?
There was a laptop on the kitchen island.
So here in Commonwealth's 86, are you able to see the laptop?
Yes, it's on the right-hand
Is
corner.
it the black object here in the corner?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Did you find what was later identified as Christine Banfield's cell phone?
Yes.
Looking at Commonwealth's 87, Is this the bar cart you previously described?
It is. This is the back side of the bar cart.
Okay, and where did you find the phone?
The phone is going to be in the middle top drawer of this bar cart.
All right, so looking at Commonwealth's 88, is that the drawer you're talking about extended?
Yes.
Okay, and what do we see there in the middle of the drawer?
It's going to be the cell phone in question.
All right, Commonwealth's 89, is that the cell phone?
Yes.
And Commonwealth's 90, is this the back side of the phone that you found?
Yes.
90 we hadn't put in evidence yet, so I took
Oh, I
that off the
apologize.
screen. So do you want 90 in
I
evidence?
do.
And I understand there's no objections on 90 in evidence. Okay, go ahead. Thank you, Shannon.
Judge, I would then offer Commonwealth's 91 through 97 into evidence.
All right, again, I understand there's no objection. Okay, all
And I
right.
apologize, Judge, I think I had said 98 originally and was just not clear in my speech.
Okay,
Thank you. All
90 to
right.
97, okay.
Detective Portner, did you have the opportunity to then move upstairs in the home?
All right, guys, yet again, we are taking a close look inside the courtroom of the Brendan Banfield trial. It appears forensics, if you will. Currently on the stand, the prosecution directing the questions, yet again joined with Marlo Greer, attorney extraordinaire. We're going to be joined with Mr. Vernon Miles in just a minute. But before we do so, Marlo, one of the things that Vernon and I discussed several times is how quickly, immediately, the prosecution put the star witness on the stand. Is that unusual?
You want to put either your best witness first or last. And you really have to think about that. Do I want the jury to hear her last and have that be the thing that they take away with and that they take into the jury room? Sometimes if that witness isn't as strong as you would like, you put that person on first. And I think that's really what they did here, because she's not... Is her story compelling? Yes, it is. But she's not the strongest witness, right? And she's not necessarily a friend to the prosecution. And so I think what they needed to do, what they thought was the best thing to do, was put her on first, let her have her weaknesses, so to speak, and then bring in all of the forensic evidence, all of the police investigation, and everything else that they have to back up her story so that they can bolster her and make her a better witness than she would have been on her own.
Very well said. Key point backing up that story, and that's why we're going to now bring in Mr. Vernon Miles, who he has been covering and doing an amazing job with this. Vernon, obviously, a lot of eyes on the courtroom yesterday, back on the courtroom today. You and I both discussed who would they use next? Who would the prosecution bring to the witness stand? It's now evident it surrounds forensics.
It does make sense that they're moving into forensics. Like Marlo said, that you want to get that witness up there first. The defense said that they were going to tear apart her story, and they tried. I don't know how successful they were yesterday. That'll be for the jury to decide. But it makes sense that they wanted to get that up there first. They had her also kind of lay out their case and tell the jury kind of the broader picture of what happened in this, according to the prosecution and according to their witness. And they can also use that now as background as they move into conveying what this evidence is. They already have the full scope of the story they're trying to tell, and now they can show this evidence to try to back that up.
Yeah. And so obviously, Vernon, we're just bringing you in, and I know we're moving ahead, but I want to recap, if you will, and revert to what you discussed last night on the podcast as you continue to cover all things surrounding the trial. Your big takeaway thus far, Vernon?
I think the big takeaway is that this is going to be a very difficult case for the defense, and Bob and I were talking about this yesterday. We're kind of fascinated to see what direction they go with it, because we thought at first they were going to try to say that she made up this whole story, that everything about the FetLife account, that they set this up in Catfish, and they were going to say none of that was true. But from what the defense was asking yesterday, I'm not sure that's the case. I'm not sure if they're going to try to say that he did go along with this, but that she was the mastermind. I'm not really sure what they're going for just yet, but it's going to be really interesting to see kind of where they take this.
And this will play out right before our very eyes, as yet again, Vernon will join us at 12 noon within the Live Zone. Vernon, we truly appreciate you. Marlo as well. Let's go ahead and take a live look yet again inside the courtroom.
In the room?
Yes, that is a second photo.
Okay. All right. Detective Portner, I don't have any other questions for you. Please answer any directed to you by Mr. Carroll.
All right, cross-examination.
Detective Portner, there's just a couple of questions based on some of the things that you said, not too many. Cummel's number 94 is obviously a picture, and in a moment it shows something, but there were questions asked about you doing an investigation as to any other signs of struggle or forced entry in the house other than the master bedroom.
Yes.
Okay. Describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what would you do to come to the conclusion that there was none of those things?
So I would inspect all of the doors to see if there are any obvious signs or damage to the framing of the door, which I did not find. There were no debris found on the ground to indicate anything had broken. In terms of the furniture in the house, I didn't see anything turned over in an unusual manner to indicate there was struggle or forced entry anywhere.
When did you do that in relation to the incident?
So when I first arrived on scene, my primary task was taking scene photos as everything was, and as I was doing that, I was also checking those areas.
Okay, so this happened instantaneously on February 24th?
Upon my arrival, yes.
And when was that?
Just after 9 a.m.
Okay. And so at that point, had you had any sort of a briefing as to what the expectations were with this crime scene?
Just that it was a report of a homicide.
Okay. Was there anything that suggested a break-in or anybody say there was going to be a break-in?
No, no one had indicated that.
Okay. So this is just something that you do as part of your crime scene duties?
Correct, just documenting.
Okay. And it wasn't surprising for you after you kind of heard more about the case that there weren't forced entry or other signs of struggle anywhere other than the master bedroom?
I wouldn't expect to see struggle anywhere other than the master bedroom.
Okay. Now, the places where you chose to take pictures, were you directed to take certain pictures, or do you just go ahead and just take as many pictures as you can and then see where it goes from there?
So my ultimate goal when I'm taking scene photographs are to take overall photographs to indicate everything as best I can. Typically these come from the four corners of the room from different angles. And then if there's an area of interest, I then come in and take mid-range and then close-up pictures of those items or areas of interest.
And that was those were your decisions, I guess, was the question I was asking.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
All right, redirect.
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Is this witness subject to recall?
He is not.
Do you need your, okay, you're free to go, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Your Honor.
All right, your next witness,
Detective O.J. Falk.
Detective Falk.
And Your Honor, if you will terminate the display.
It is.
Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law? Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Can you please state and spell your name for the court record?
Owen J. Falk IV. Falk spelled F as in Frank, A-U-L-K.
Thank you. Directing your attention to February 24th of 2023. On that date, how were you employed?
I was employed as a crime scene detective with the Fairfax County Police Department.
Are you now retired?
I am retired.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Taking you back to that day, did you have the opportunity to investigate a vehicle later determined to belong to Joseph Ryan?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. What were you able to see upon your inspection of that vehicle?
Within the vehicle, on the driver's floorboard, there were 2 red cellular phones laying underneath the brake and the gas pedal.
All right. I'm going to show you a picture that's been marked as Commonwealth 155. I'm going to ask that that be admitted into evidence along with 156 and displayed to the jury and the gallery.
No objection, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Detective Falk, do you recognize this photo?
Yes, ma'am.
Are those the telephones that you observed in the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And directing you to 156, is that another photograph of the phones?
It is with the door open.
Okay. And were those items collected as evidence to your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am, they were.
Okay. Had you disturbed them prior to taking these photos?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that's where you found them.
Yes.
All right. That's all I have for this witness, Judge. Thank you.
All right, cross-examination. All right, is this witness subject to recall?
He is not.
All right, you're free to go, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, your next witness,
Detective Terry Leach.
Detective Leach.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, ma'am.
Can you please state and spell your name for the court record?
It's Terry Leach, Terryleach.
How are you currently employed?
With the Fairfax County Police.
Are you assigned to a particular unit?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for that unit?
I'm a detective with the Major crime scene unit.
All right. How long have you held that position?
I've been with the crime scene unit for 22 years, with the last 8.5 in major crimes.
All right. Were you employed in that role on February 24th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On that date, did you respond to an incident at Stablebrook Way?
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately what time did you arrive?
It was approximately 9:44 a.m.
All right. And who was on scene when you arrived, if you recall?
When I got on scene, there was several patrol units, homicide detectives. From my unit, there was Detective Falk, Detective Portner, Sergeant Portner now, and Detective Szyminski and myself.
All right. What was your role in this investigation?
I was assigned as the lead crime scene detective.
And what are the general responsibilities of a lead crime scene detective?
The lead crime scene detectives is the primary liaisons between the crime scene section and the lead homicide detective. We're also responsible for managing the scene, delegating out tasks. We also work if there's any needs for any more personnel or equipment. We work with our supervisors. And after we clear scenes, we're responsible for all the evidence handling, documentation. If there's any lab submissions or anything like that, we take care of it.
And that role carries through to today, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So if we want evidence, it's coming from you. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. When you entered the Banfield's primary...
Obviously, yet
bedroom on that
another
day,
busy day as we have now entered day 4 of the Brendan Banfield trial. It is pure chaos described by some within the courtroom, others somewhat mundane. You be the judge. By the way, we want to remind you that each and every morning at 10 a.m. we will continue to provide you with the latest entitled Deadly Desire, the Brendan Banfield trial. And later in the evening, we encourage you to listen to our Fox 5 podcast entitled The Banfield Trial, Unfiltered Courtroom Notes. By the way, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. For those of you watching on our YouTube page and our TikTok, don't go anywhere. You can continue to do so, and we'll have the latest for you coming up at 12 noon on the Fox 5 Live Zone.